Today, our hypothesis is that there are more Americans use left hand to write than Chinese. Wow, it's an interesting thing, right? So, is that a real thing in our life? Let's explore that next.
Look, there is a common thing in classroom that the teacher is writing use his left hand on the blackboard. In America, we still usually find that there are many students use their left hand to write. However, we seldom find someone who use left hand write in China. So usually in China, if someone use left hand to write, we think he or she is smart one, for they doing something other can do.
And in this Chinese family, the mom tells his child to write with his right hand for the reason that using right hand is more convenient. She says, "Honey, try to use the right hand to hold a pencil and you can write on something." In fact, I'm a Chinese. When I was very little, my mom and dad urged me to use right hand to write. They think using right hand to write is a kind of rule that we must comply with that. And my teacher in my grade 1 also told us to use right hand to hold a pen.
Now, there is a common fact in our home at America. The dad tells his little boy to use both forks and knives. He says, "Hey, use both your hand to hold knives and forks. Enjoy the chicken." And the boy is really happy and excited to enjoy chicken by himself. So we suppose that because of using both forks and knives make Americans practice both hands more than Chinese. So our motivating theory is that the practice of both hands at the same time caused some Americans try to use left hand to write. Therefore, there are more Americans who use left hands to write than Chinese.
So, in order to solve and explore this hypothesis, we administered surveys. We served 30 people. 15 of them are female, 15 of them are male, and 15 are Chinese, 13 are Americans, 2 are from other countries. We asked 3 questions. The first one, which hand do you use to write? Second, do you have friends use left hand to write in your country? The last one is, how often do you use both forks and knives in your country? This survey helps us a lot to get data and explore our assumption.
So now here is our results. The graph about how often do Americans and Chinese use both forks and knives. According to the data we collected, as the graph shows, a large part of Americans usually use both forks and knives, and none of them never use forks and knives. However, a large part of Chinese just use forks and knives sometimes, and only one Chinese usually says he usually uses them. So this graph indicates that Americans practice both of their hands more than Chinese. That will help us to support our supposition.
Now, there is the last graph apparently shows that there are truly more Americans use left hands to write than Chinese. We can see that in the 30 people we have served, non-Chinese use his or her left hand to write, but there are 6 Americans use left hands to write. What's the main thing? And actually, when I asked, do you have friends who use left hand to write in your country? All the Americans said they have, but only a few Chinese said they have friends do that.
So we can prove our assumption now. There are more Americans who use left hand to write than Chinese. And the Americans' daily behavior of using both forks and knives is one of the factors which urge some of them to use left hand to write. However, we definitely have some limited, such as small survey area, small number of people, and a large part of people are students. Moreover, our project relates to the topic of our class, the difference of culture in different area. Anyway, our survey actually supports our hypothesis in the beginning of the video. So if you also have confusing, try to make a survey like us to find the answer.